a very, very, very serious glitch in the broadcast. And I don't know why. As far as I'm aware, I didn't do anything differently here. Um, so I'm just going to try and work out uh, exactly what's going on with the live stream. But for those of you who are watching the recording and you have got no idea what I'm talking about, I'd started about 20 minutes ago doing a live video of my top 10 best patchouli perfumes, and we lost the internet connection for some reason. So now I'm trying to come back with the second installment of the video. Um, if I can just carry on broadcasting and carry on where I left off, then it's not going to be a huge problem, because I can just call that one part one and call this one part two, and I'm sure you'll be able to find each other. But I have no idea what happened. So some sort of mess up. I'm just going to want to make sure. I need to make sure that I'm watching the correct one on my own live stream here, because I need to be able to see the comments from you. Okay, interestingly, I seem to be getting comments from the old ones and the new ones. Apologies for those of you watching the recording thinking, can he just get to the perfumes? But I'm just trying to sort out what's happening here. Right, I'm gonna carry on and then make sure that I'm watching the correct one here. Ah, the joys of technology, eh? The joys of live broadcast. This is when you wish. I'm just going to make sure that everything's all right here on the tablet. Just when you think everything's working fine. Okay, now I think I've got the correct one. Phew. So we will hope that this one carries on, and we'll do a part one and a part two, and it'll be fine. So, very quickly, in part one of the top 10 best patchouli perfumes, we did Noir de Noir from Tom Ford and Coromandel from Chanel. This is here. You can find out why this is here in part one. But we need to get on. So what do I do as my third one? Sorry about that, folks, but I don't know what happened. Perhaps my internet did something, or YouTube did something. Let us go to 1993. It's not the oldest perfume on this list. And let us go to something created by Michel Almarac, and let's see what your thoughts are on this. This is Voleur de Rose, Rose Thief, from L'Artisan Parfumeur. As I say, 1993. Michel Almarac, and not the first time. It's obviously not the first time we're going to have a combination of rose and patchouli on this list, and certainly not the first time nor the last time that rose and patchouli will be combined together. Now again, some of you may have been expecting to see L'Artisan Parfumeur on this list, but you may have been expecting Patchouli Patch, which I think is a great scent, but this is the one that I actually wanted to go for the sake of this list. This one, I've always been impressed by how it goes all out with the dirtiness of the patchouli. I don't know what you lot are talking about. We're sentient saying this is way better than a spinning circle. Is this because you've all found the new stream? Well, I'm really, really touched by your patience and the fact that you've come all the way here. Now I'm going to have to keep track of the time as well. Which L'Artisan is that? Says Aperol, Voleur de Rose. So in this one, I guess what is notable is the sort of skankiness, really, of the patchouli that works very well. This is the unwashed, messed up hair. This is that kind of dingy student bedroom that maybe could have had its windows opened just a little bit more frequently. Ventilation is important, right? And yet it's charming. Because there is that rosiness in there. So this is the kind of lovable rogue. This is the person that you can't help falling for, even though you maybe wish that their personal hygiene routines were a little bit sharper, a little bit better. Um, the the dirtiness starts heading a little bit into metallic territory, um, which is often the way with patchouli. I think things that come across as a bit camphoraceous also start heading a little bit into metallic territory. But a really, really interesting piece of work nonetheless. Okay, I want to do one more and then talk about some of the ones that unfortunately could not be here with us today. And which one would be a good one to do next, do you think, Persolaise? Let's do one from 2020. Let's do one that actually in a way was also part of the inspiration for doing this list. I can't show you the proper bottle of it. I don't have a full bottle, but you can go online and have a look. They're fairly standard bottles from this brand. And this is from the Netherlands-based brand, but with an Italian perfumer called Francesca Bianchi. And this is her release from this year called Sticky Fingers. Oh, Kim is saying Voleur de Rose is better than Patchouli Patch anyway. There you go. This is Sticky Fingers, her release from this year. Really, really taken with this. And again, it's one of these ones where because it's an extrait, you kind of feel it's a bit of a waste putting it on paper, but it's not a waste because I'm sharing it with you. And this one I thought was just also such a wonderful name, because it's got that kind of slightly naughty, slightly gourmand stickiness to it. Greetings from lockdown Lithuania, says Yolanta. Well, I also happen to live in one of the areas of the UK that's gone into the most serious tier now, so let's all send each other good lockdown wishes. Aperol Spritz, I'm seeing your comment. We'll come back to that, okay? This is who doesn't enjoy sticky fingers, says we are sentient. This is a great patchouli. It's a great patchouli extrait. She's handled the note extremely well. She's brought in just the right amount of sweetness to it, just the right amount of nuttiness to it. I love the kind of roasted hazelnutty quality in it. I'm sure there's a beautiful vanilla note doing its thing in the background there, and it's just sassy. This is the swaggy, sassy one. This is the one that is like the dangerous honey trap that entices you with its walk and its well-fitted jeans, shall we say. Yeah, there's a lot going on here. There is a lot going on here, but it's got brains, okay? It's not ditzy or dippy in any way. And those camphoraceous elements again are nicely kept in check. I would imagine at the moment smelling it also, I'm getting quite a lot of spice. This was beautiful, really, really gorgeous. When I came to buy, because if you get a discovery set from the brand, which I did, you then also get a voucher which gives you a bit of money off for your next purchase, your first purchase, and this was going to be my number 2 choice. In the end, I went for Etruscan water because I was blown away by that. But I would like to think that maybe one day soon I'll be able to afford a bottle of this as well. Really, really good stuff. Okay, so we're only 4 in. Gosh, let me look at some comments, and then I would like to talk about a few that if I can remember, a few that didn't make it here. I'm really, really appreciating this interaction, but I'm probably going to have to go back and read all of your comments after the broadcast. What have we got here? I'm enjoying Van Cleef & Arpels Moonlight Patchouli recently, says Fata Morgana. I want to sample a unique or avant-garde patchouli. Most patchouli scents tend to retread the same pathways. Well, that's why I've included one of the ones here that I've included. We'll come to that. Heard good things about Sticky Fingers, says Drac. The Burrow Nerdy Fragrance Review says, ooh, yes, can't get enough of Sticky Fingers. Have you tried the French brand Reminiscence? They have a range of excellent patchouli scents. Okay, Aperol Spritz says. Now, people maybe watching from France I'm going to reveal, will probably be horrified when I say that I haven't got the original Reminiscence patchouli from the 70s on my list. That is considered by many to be like the reference patchouli. But it is great, but I wanted to go with sort of this rather than this, except maybe in some cases, but mostly I wanted to go with this. So um, yeah, the Reminiscence Patchouli isn't here. What else could have been here that isn't? I was very torn about things like Mathilde Laurent's L'Envol for Cartier, her Panthère for Cartier, which of course makes very strong use of patchouli. The Le Labo patchouli, I forget the number, I think is a genius scent, but I never ever go to that one for a patchouli hit. To me, that's like a really interesting sci-fi leather. So that one's not on here. What else could have been on here that isn't on here? Some of the things I was... Oh, a Javois psychedelic, I think is a really great straight up and down patchouli, extremely well done. I've already mentioned some of the other ones, like L'Artisan's patchouli patch. Tom Ford Noir could have been an interesting one. That could have been on there. And what are some of you saying? Private Label by Javois is also a very good patchouli. What do you think about the patchouli in Francesca Bianchi Black Knight, says Shimon Pajo. See, again, to me, that was a kind of leathery vetiver scent. Interesting piece of work. I think that one people seem to like more than I do, but which is fair enough. Kathy says Sticky Fingers is so good. Kim Tuft says if only Sticky Fingers was a bit more raunchy like her earlier works. Terrific, though. Interesting. Pisebia, I'd like to try Sticky Fingers. Tried 4 from Francesca, and they're all good. Wanted to buy Black Knight, but it's too sweet in the heart. And Jonathan says, I have Javois Psychedelic, or Psychedelic, I suppose. Etruscan Water is gorgeous, says Tina. Big thumbs up for Black Knight, also, says Kim. Reminiscence Patchouli is quite nice, says We Are Sentient. Q George, Monsieur by FM. Shimon says Nikolai. No, nothing from Nikolai here. Yeah, you're absolutely right. That would have been one to consider as well. Patchouli 24 barely contains any patchouli, says Kim Tufts. Genius scent, though. Fantastic piece of work. Would you rate Molinard's patchouli? Oh, gosh, I haven't smelt it for ages. I'd have to check it out again. Putting Sticky Fingers on my buy list, says Benjamin. Yes, you should. And L'Inspiratrice by Divine is a rich rose patchouli, says Rachel. Interesting. Okay, now I would also like to talk about one. So the next one on my list is one that I haven't got, and I was actually shocked to find out that I haven't got it. I think what must have happened is that I lent my bottle to somebody, being the kind soul that I am, because no collection should be without this particular perfume. To me, this one that I'm about to mention now is actually the kind of reference 70s rose and patchouli combo, and it is from 1971, Aromatics Elixir from Clinique, composed by Bernard Chante. I actually also thought that I had a bottle in my collection of the more recent Aromatics in white, and I thought, well, okay, if I can't smell Aromatics Elixir during the broadcast, I can do Aromatics in white, but that seems to have gone walkabout as well. So I don't know what's going on. So if you don't mind, what I will do is I will just read the very brief review of Aromatics Elixir from my book. It's just a paragraph. It says here, or I say here, some ingredients go together so well there is no doubt that they will continue to be placed side by side in fragrances for years to come. Of these classic combos, patchouli and rose is perhaps one of the most enduring, and Aromatics Elixir is as good a scent as any in which to smell its characteristic features. The patchouli deepens and unfurls the rose whilst simultaneously being lifted and softened by the flower. As a pair, they spell cerebral sensuality with a distinctiveness that has largely stood the test of time. How convenient that I still agree with this, just as well. Okay, so by way of a kind of substitute, so that we did actually have... See, now I had a different message on the YouTube thing. Now it said, do you want to resume your stream? So is it actually just going to carry on from where we left off? What is going on today? Persolaise may actually start showing a little bit of a temper. So, those of you who are still with me live, thank you so much for your patience. Those of you who are watching the recording, at this moment in time, because I'm in the middle of the live broadcast, I have no idea what it's actually going to look like as a recording. But please bear with me. I think the message is we need to get through these perfumes very quickly. So, what I was saying before we broke off That was a scary face, says Shimon. Yeah, this is years of being a teacher, okay? Don't mess with Persolaise. Still here, no worries, says Thea. Thomas says, I missed the beginning. Did you mention Monsieur from Frederic Malle? Not yet. I just need to make sure that things are working. Oh, bring on part 3, says Benjamin. Now, I don't seem to be getting you on my tablet properly, so let's just quickly go on here. I wonder what's going on. Do you think there's like loads and loads of people on the internet? Because my connection seems to be all right. Okay, I'm scared, says Europe. What kind of teacher, says Peace? You don't want to know what kind of teacher. Give me 20, drop. So that we had 10 to smell, although we probably don't have time now. I won't spray it now. I was actually going to give a sort of special shout out to Héritage from Guerlain from 1992, composed by Jean-Paul Guerlain. Yes, okay, it's kind of technically a woody ambery scent. Tier 4 is probably causing an online overload, says, yeah, you may be right. People watching Mariah Carey and Wham overloaded you, says Shimon. So, special mention, but we won't smell it now because we haven't got the time to. Héritage, I personally love the EDP, the Eau de Parfum. Really, really nice patchouli note in there. Let us move on. Let's do this one now because it's been mentioned a few times. So this is Bruno Jovanovic's Monsieur for Frederic Malle from 2015. Now, somebody quite rightly pointed out that according to my blog, I'm not actually the world's biggest fan of this, and I remain in that position. I'm not the world's biggest fan of it, but I kind of thought it had to be on this list because it's quite an important example of oh, somebody's saying love this one. Okay, fair enough. An important example of a modern patchouli. Now, the patchouli in this has been massively overdosed. I think I read somewhere that actually it's more than 50% of the overall formula, which is crazy. My most worn Frederic Malle by far, says Thomas. Okay, interesting. So it obviously has fans. To me, this is in the same kind of category of take on patchouli as Tom Ford's Patchouli Absolute. The Tom Ford I really can't take. The Frederic Malle I can admire. Monsieur is so minty. I like it, says Tina. Okay, maybe to me, it's that hyper freshness that I find screechy. And maybe even starting to head into unconvincing territories. I'm a big fan of Monsieur as well, says Q George. Okay, well, I'm glad it's here because at least we can have a bit of a discussion about it, a bit of a debate about it. Rummy to me, says Lannon, and there is a rum note in there, isn't there? And I think I've always actually preferred smelling it like this on paper or on fabric than wearing it. When I've worn it, it's quite often got to the point where I just sort of thought, okay, I need to get this stuff off me now. But if memory serves, I deliberately didn't reread my review over on Persolaise.com, but if memory serves, I think what I said was that it may be something that I may come to appreciate with time. And some of Frederic Malle's perfumes are a little bit ahead of their time. I'm just labeling the Francesca Bianchi one here. Like, I haven't smelled music for a while, because I'm wondering what that, because again, I'm not a huge fan of that one either, but I'm wondering what I will make of that one with the passage of time. Somebody here says, Lannon says, I prefer the dry down quite a lot. Q George says, have to mention Givenchy Gentleman, the original, and I do have that somewhere actually in my collection. What other comments have we got here? I'm just trying to see whether there's anything that I should pick up on. Not yet. So we've done 5. We need to get a move on. The technology is not on our side today, people. Let's go back a little bit. Let's now go back to 2003. This one, I wonder if people will say, yeah, this is the patchouli, this counts as something else. And again to Jacques Cavalier, and again to a brand that we mentioned, love music for a while also, says JW. And this is Jacques Cavalier's Rive Gauche pour Homme from Yves Saint Laurent. So what are the reactions to that? Still available, of course, but in a slightly different bottle now. This stuff I love. I know that it technically counts as a sort of aromatic fougère, but what I have Always loved it. Oh, yes, says Jonathan B. Swift. I'm so pleased I've still got this bottle, actually. And I've got the Intense. Rive Gauche is a favourite of mine, says El Gonzo. As far as modern fougères that are, you know, very, very overtly, very openly masculine are, this really can't be beaten. And, it's so good. Please don't break on me now, Internet. I promise I will be good. I hope in the best of... You know what's going to happen? I'm going to get so many thumbs down for this video because I think that's one of the reasons why sometimes I get... Well, I'm sure sometimes I get thumbs down because people just don't like this face and what comes out of the mouth. But also I think I get thumbs down if there are technological issues. Shimon says, loved the older version. The actual formulation smells kind of flat. I haven't smelt the current one for a while. I love how you say actual. That's translating from Polish aktualne, doesn't it? Yeah, interesting. Yeah, because strictly speaking, you should say current. And you can take that from the teacher. But there you go. Sorry, I just like... Random aside. El Gonzo says, never thought of it as a patchouli scent. It is, though. Patchouli is such a prominent ingredient here. Rich Mitch says, Mr. Ford really liked Mr. Cavalier while he was at YSL. Thea says, don't be good, be bold. Oh, okay, sorry, yes, meaning what I was talking about a second ago. And Mayank Soda says, it is Lalique Encre Noire coming in this line. What's your take on them? No, because to me that is... Encre Noire is really... Again, pretty much a straight up and down vetiver scent, so I'd really never kind of go to Encre Noire if I'm after patchouli. Opium and Youth Dew, says Sailor Boy. Yeah, good calls, but not going to be on this list. I need to wear this again, actually. This, I don't know why, but there must have been a lot of this scent around, or scents like it around, in the sort of 90s in the Middle East, because I always associate this type of thing with the late 80s, early 90s in the Middle East. And I think Cavalier must have just really refined it and put in a really, really nice dose of dry herbs. I mean, I'm loving the dryness of it at the moment. Balenciaga Pour Homme, one of my favorite scents, is an amazing patchouli, says Rich Mitch. Yeah, I'd need to check that one out. So... because time is against us, we're going to keep going. How many have I got to do? I have still got 1, 2, 3. Is that right? Am I down to 3? So have I actually made up some good time? Let's just make sure. So 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, and the 7, the Aromatics Elixir. Okay, so we can take a little bit of a breather now. Now, where to go next? Okay, so let's say... Rouge Hermès is a spicy patchouli bomb. Good point. Let's do the one that I mentioned a while ago, where I said that I wanted to talk about the direction that patchouli may be taken in future releases. And there's always a little bit of an outlier in these lists, okay? This is from Etat Libre d'Orange, composed by Daniela Andrier. This is Une Amourette. Now, of course, Etat Libre have got, or they certainly used to have, I'm sure it's still on their list, a really great Soli patch, again, straight up and down patchouli in their great big belly button scent, the, what is it called, Nombril Immense or something like that, a really, really good hippie patchouli scent. But a lot of you may be aware that several perfumes that are out there have got something called Akigala wood listed as an ingredient. That's Akigala wood is a Givaudan material. So as far as I'm aware, you'll only see it listed on Givaudan scents. Let's pop that on there. Did somebody say, I'm wearing Une Amourette right now, says Q George. And Akigala wood is a type of patchouli material. I personally think that it's overused in a lot of scents. So for example, in something like Mont Blanc Explorer, in Tempo from Diptyque, I think it's taken a bit too far. But I think that is the smell that we're going to be getting in a lot of future scents. I think Givaudan are really, really using the material heavily to kind of get it out there and to get a a liking for it in the marketplace, and so far it's working. I mean, people are obviously responding to it because there is a lot of Akigala wood out there. But I think in Daniela Andrier's work here in Une Amourette, it really, really works extremely well. It's an interesting piece of work, this one. Again, not necessarily something you'd go for straight away if you wanted patchouli, although it is quite a patchouli heavy dry down, because it actually starts off quite sweet citrusy. I mean, I'm getting mandarin here, not unlike the effect of the opening of Davidoff's Cool Water. But that earthiness of the patchouli starts coming through, that minty, camphoraceous metallicness starts coming through, and I wonder if attempts to make patchouli smell more modern, somebody was saying more avant-garde, more interesting, more sci-fi, if future attempts to do that are actually going to smell quite a bit like Une Amourette. That's my kind of vague theory. So do check it out. It's one of the best things that Etat Libre has given us in recent years, I think. And if you haven't smelt it, it is definitely worth your time. Santos de Cartier has a great use of patchouli, as does Antaeus and other classic Chypre, says Sailor Boy. Absolutely. My nose, sadly, does not like the mate in tempo, says Lanan. Fair enough. And what else have we got? Kim Tuft saying, waiting for Serge Lutens' Borneo 1834 Camphorous Monster. Lilian says, hello from China. First time watching you live. What time is it over there? Thank you very much for tuning in. I've always thought I disliked patchouli until I met Coromandel. There you go. And Q George says, that's definitely a camphor note from Une Amourette. I also get milky sweetness from it. Okay, with 2 to go. And please, technology, don't let me down now. I will try to do this as quickly as possible. Once again, thank you for your patience. I'm going to say, you may be shocked. You may be shocked by this one, but I think it's got to be here. Although again, maybe you were not expecting it in this version, because this is, of course, classic, now modern classic scent from 1992. You know where I'm going with this, but this is a version that emerged in 2006, which is probably my favorite version of it. So, ladies and gentlemen, boys and girls, I give you the extrait, no less, of Angel from Mugler. Now, it's a shame I have to watch your video in low quality, says El Gonzo. Ooh, I wonder why. Sorry about that, if it's something to do with me. This is the extrait of Angel that I acquired. Shock, says Lannan. But, you know, it's kind of got to be here, hasn't it? I mean, for the perfume that almost single-wingedly defined the early 21st century perfumery. Gorgeous bottles, says Q George. No, says Christine. Well, the interesting thing about the extrait is that a lot of people who are not crazy about proper Angel, and I'm not crazy about proper Angel, a lot of people who aren't crazy about proper Angel actually like the extrait, and vice versa. Please don't open it. I'll smell it through the screen. This is, I think it's because the base notes are stronger and more prominent. That shrill, screaming candy floss, sugar thing at the top is pulled right down. Hope the internet crashes for this, says Sailor Boy. No! I want an extrait of Angel and Alien if they have one, says Q George. I don't think they do anymore. Original Amen could also be considered. Yes, absolutely. Thank you very much for saying that. And B-Men, right? Although that doesn't exist anymore. But this is, dare I say it, this is pretty good. And on skin, it works beautifully. But as I say, the real Angel aficionados are not crazy about this version. And it seems to have a kind of vice versa effect. So yeah, number 9 on my list. Mugler's Angel. You kind of couldn't not include it. So Angel without the diabetes. Interesting. Oh, well, no, it's okay. Maybe it doesn't have diabetes, but it's like on the verge of it. Okay. I mean, this is still Angel, right? There's still plenty of sugar in here, but it's not shrill. I think that's what I mean. And maybe because it doesn't have quite the same sillage, that also makes it, dare I say, more sophisticated? You know, it's not really a word we use in relation to Angel. Just sprayed Angel, EDP, says Jen, and you smell great. Good for you. I want an extract of 4711, says Gunmetal. Freddie Turner says the 1974 Givenchy Gentleman is a stunning patchouli with herbs and leather. Totally agree. Everyday Product says Portrait of a Lady. You do mean Portrait of a Lady, right? Because you're all writing POTL. And unless I'm missing something, is there another one? Figaro says, I love Angel. There you go. And good evening from Cyprus. I'm enjoying everyone's reaction to Angel. I don't know it. Don't have a memory of sniffing it back when it came out. Oh my goodness. Well, when things normalize wherever you happen to be in the world, you need to go and smell Angel. And now, the last one, Portrait of the Lady. Yeah, okay, you confused me there because it's Portrait of a Lady. I talked about Portrait of a Lady at the beginning of the video, or what we may now have to call part one of the video. This is in its current guise, by the way. No, I mean People of the Labyrinths. This is in its gratte-ciel form, so in its current form, Borneo 1834 from Serge Lutens. Had to be here. Not dissimilar to Coromandel, and also, as a lot of you will be aware, this is the perfumer for this one was Christopher Sheldrake, and of course Christopher Sheldrake has a lot to do with had a lot to do with the creation of the exclusive line at Chanel, and doing a side by side, you'd almost kind of need to do. It would be interesting to do a side by side comparison video of Borneo and Coromandel, because they do share a lot of facets in common, but the Lutens is darker. So the Lutens, whereas the Chanel plays out the sweeter aspects, the balsamic aspects, the resinous, the Lutens goes all out with the leafiness, the greenness, maybe even the slightly figgy quality of the patchouli, and the dirt, the earthiness, the camphoraceousness. But if there was a perfect patchouli out there for me, I would probably say, have you tried Le Lion, says Sailor Boy? No, not yet. That's a reference to the next Chanel exclusive. To me, the most sort of perfect patchouli as a patchouli would probably be Borneo 1834. It's and the tobacco, I should say, you know, there's this beautiful honeyed, plummy tobacco note. It's just heaven. So I feel I should draw proceedings to a close, not least because we're almost at the top of the hour and I just don't want to tempt fate with the technology anymore. The Angel extrait is not expensive on eBay, says Eric. Oh, there you go. Thank you very much. Tell us how much we can get it for. The yin and yang of patchouli, says Kim Tufts. What, Coromandel and Borneo? Yes, yeah, very possibly, because the one is, and actually, like I said at the beginning, the one is white. No mention of Patchouli Ardent from Sailor Boy. That was an interesting one from this year. It was this year, wasn't it? But no, not on the list. I love Angel, but the current version isn't a patch on the earlier version. Boom, boom, says Kathy Witter. To be honest, I layer it with Reminiscence Patchouli. You handled the palaver beautifully today, says Mel. Yeah, I need to say a word about that. Drag says, I'd trade my Coromandel for Borneo based on your description. It's the white chocolate in Coromandel that turns me off a bit. Oh no, you see, I would have to have them both. I couldn't do a trade-off. And Eric says, extraits of Angel on eBay for about $30. Well, now that you've said that, I can see the prices going up now because all you lot are going to go and start bidding. Patchouli Imperial from Dior. Thank you. That was another one that I should have said nearly made it on the list, but no. Benjamin says, you did handle today well. Thank you, Persolaise, for your many, 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 many live streams today. So thank you for staying tuned in. For those of you watching live, for those of you watching the recording, apologies at the moment, because like I said a few minutes ago, I am still in the middle of this live stream. I don't actually know what is going to end up being uploaded to YouTube. I hope that whatever turned out to be the first broadcast, part one, before the internet got cut off, is actually still intact and hasn't been lost forever. But I won't know what I'm able to salvage until this is over and YouTube has finished uploading, because it's also quite a long video. YouTube takes a while to complete the uploading. But whatever I'm able to figure out, whatever I'm able to do, I will write down in the video description below. And if I need to link to another video, then I will. But thank you for your patience, and apologies for the mess up. It wasn't me doing anything deliberately. Really, really sorry. But thanks for sticking around. And I will be back probably on the 29th of December with my best of the year videos. So I won't sort of say my goodbyes and thank yous for the year until then, unless the internet doesn't work. But for now, I would just like to say, stay safe, all of you. For those of you who celebrate Christmas, wishes of peace and goodwill for a wonderful Christmas to those of you celebrating. And to those of you not celebrating, you can have all of my wishes of peace and goodwill as well. Please stay healthy. Please stay safe. Thank you very much for your interaction today. Thank you for always being so wonderful and for making all of this so much fun. But I think I am going to sign off now and not tempt fate anymore. Fingers crossed we will be able to get some kind of a video out of this. Be good, folks. See you soon. Bye.